We roll over this IED that nobody's aware of. They came to get us out of the vehicle. I just fall out like wet spaghetti. I didn't come to until I got into the house. They strap me up, they load me up, and I'm strapped to this stretcher. They bring me into the medical bay. So the doctor, he's like, I gotta jam a finger up your butt to check for internal bleeding. And I'm like, don't you fucking stick anything up my butt. I'm still strapped to this board and they're like starting to roll me over. I'm just like, get the fuck off of me. And sure as shit, I'm like, hello. There's a fucking dude's finger in my butt. Where we're going to cross, the water had taken over it. And then you hear the whole vehicle. We roll into the river. I'm half underwater. I'm floating in the back and I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna drown in this fucking truck. Boom, the door gets open. And I finally get to the door and Jeff is there and he's like, brother, give me your hand. And I look up and I go, shut up, dude, I'm all right. Fuck. We get this gross of eggs. We all kind of look at each other and we're like, hey, you guys want to go out tonight and egg houses? We go maybe 2 or 3 blocks away. So we're going rooftop to rooftop. We find this one house. We pop up, chuck a couple eggs. All of a sudden, whoop, 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 whoop. There's like 14 Iraqi police trucks out of nowhere. They're racking their rifles and I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna fucking shoot us. And we don't have any gear on. My name is Matthew Dolan. I served in the United States Marine Corps from March of 05 to October of 2013. I was an 0331 machine gunner, and I got out as a Lance Corporal. Originally from the Midwest, I was born in Kansas, lived a few years in Missouri, a few years in Oklahoma. All dependent on my sister's health needs. So she was born with cystic fibrosis. So where we lived was dependent on her health needs and what available resources were in those areas. Other than that, Lizzie, my youngest sister, being the priority, my mom and dad always made sure that we had a normal day-to-day. So get up, go to school, play sports, homework, church, born and raised Catholic. For me, I mean, it was completely normal. Okay, Lizzie's sick, we're going to the hospital. Then you go home, do your homework, you go to bed, you go to school. Okay, Lizzie's back in the hospital. That was the normalcy, was Lizzie's priority. We move around her. So from about 6 years old, I ended up getting nothing but preemptive training for the military. Was be on the ready, take care of who you need to take care of, do what you need to do, keep moving. But as far as that goes, I mean, normal Midwestern Catholic lifestyle. Dinners at night. Okay, mom and dad are going to work. We're at school. Vacations, when they could be available due to financial constraints with, a sibling with a chronic illness. So there was nothing in my mind that I would say of an extreme nature. Now, anybody on the outside of that, they're like, oh, that sounds pretty extreme. And I was like, no. You take Lizzie to the hospital, you bring her home. She feels better. And when she's not feeling well, you take her to the hospital. So on and so forth. And
how serious was the illness that she had?
So cystic fibrosis it's a genetic disease. So, I mean, it's not contagious. It's passed through genes. Now, there's different levels of cystic fibrosis. Some people, you wouldn't even tell that they're sick. Other people, they're hooked up on ventilators. They're in dire straits, struggling. And if you were to look at Lizzie, you would never know that she was sick unless you saw her in the hospital or you saw her having a bad day. Yeah, it's one of those ones where there's not a lot of notoriety with it. I think it only affects, the last I looked, I could be totally wrong, but I mean, I think only like 30,000 people have it. We didn't know she had it until maybe about 8 months after she was born. So I would have been 6 at the time. And, a 6-year-old, he doesn't know what's going on. But once the diagnosis happened, I noticed a visible shift in my parents', not overall demeanor, but okay, we're going to shift things around. Lizzie's now the priority. But at that time, Lizzie was born in 91. So at that time, medical care is not what it is today. They gave us a time frame, like she wouldn't live to be past 10 or 11. Hearing that or picking up on those indicators that, hey, your sister might not be here tomorrow. Okay, well, I'll enjoy today. That was, as daunting it was for my mom and dad, possibly losing a child, having a sibling, which you kind of just there's nothing you really can do but be there for them. So I was the oldest out of 3 and the only boy. So, I mean, I learned to be big brother right out of the gate, especially when Lizzie was born. So 6, and from I was 6 years old till growing up, it was, all right, what do you need? I'll go get it. Just stay here. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff, due to Lizzie's limitations, it was her and I just sitting around, and my middle sister, Susan, sitting around watching movies, bullshitting, laughing, carrying on, just in that one dynamic. So there was an unusual bonding between the 3 of us, and it was Lizzie's illness that was the glue to it, as ironic as that is to say, was, wow, this thing came about, we all glued together, and we dealt with it. So getting ready for the military, that started from when I was about 6, and then comparing the two, like one's combat, one's an illness, they're worlds apart. It's the little things, the ability to move on the fly, communication, who needs downtime, whatever, whenever. And growing up with cystic fibrosis, it was a lot of stuff out of the blue at a moment's notice. So it was pretty easy to join the Marine Corps when I was ready for it. I had family members that were prior military. I had an uncle in the Navy, flew helicopters. I had an uncle in the Marine Corps. He was a big catalyst for that because, I mean, he was just cock diesel through and through. And I mean, you couldn't get a word up on this guy. He would just murder you and say, well, if you're going to beat me, you better go do it. All right, I'll go fucking do it. So, grandfathers both served. My dad's father served in World War II. My mom's dad served during World War II in the Navy. I know I'm leaving somebody out. I had an uncle flew helicopters in Vietnam. There were bits and pieces that were always there, but by the time I had finished high school, I was kind of just over it. Plus, being a teenager too, growing up with my sister in that dynamic, I was like, okay, I need to get away from this because I understand the complexity of me being here, but like I need to get out on my own. So when school wasn't working out, I was working at this car dealership and moving cars around one day, like the brand new ones that come off the semi truck. I did it a certain way that my boss wasn't like aware of, and it was more efficient because his way I was doing one at a time and it was taking all day, where my way I would do like 8 to 10, and then I would have paperwork in like staggered amounts, so it would give the administrative part, leeway in between books. So they're doing one, they're done in 30 seconds, and then they're waiting hours for another one. So I was like, okay, I'm doing it this way. Well, he gets furious. He's screaming at me, and I mean, no logic, no analytics behind his reaction. I look at him and I go, all right, I'm leaving. Went over to the recruiter's office and I was like, where do I sign? And he's like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm Staff Sergeant Harris, so-and-so from Kansas. He's like, tried to do the little tiles. Like, what do you see here? And I go, no. Give me the paperwork. I'm like, you don't need to do any of that. This is going to be the easiest guy you sign today. And he goes, you're serious? Yeah. He's like, well, what do you want to do? Infantry. What? That's it? You're done? Yeah. Where do I sign? Am I done? Can I go home now? So I signed the paperwork, and I mean, I was in and out of there in 10 minutes. Go back to work. My boss comes and he's like, I'm sorry I yelled at you. Once I calmed down, I looked at the way you were doing things, and you're right. This way is more efficient. Anything. And I'm like, Bob, you're good. Just, I didn't tell you. I'm sorry about that. Bing, bang, boom. By the way, this is my 2 weeks notice. I just joined the Marine Corps. And like, he stopped shocked. You what? Yeah, I joined the Marine Corps. I quit. Well, was it because of you? Yeah, it actually was. Like, I'm not going to be here anymore. I don't want to deal with this shit. And moving cars at night, I was like 18 or 19. I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm just moving cars from one end of the lot to another. Like, I got better shit to do with my time. Now, that was the easy part. Going home and then letting my family know what I had just done. That was I didn't prep for that one. So I walk in. I'm not upset from work, but I was still kind of coming down off getting yelled at. Everyone's sitting in the living room, and like my mom and my sister are sitting there, and I think my dad was in the kitchen here doing something. I kind of just walk in and I go, hey guys, joined the Marine Corps today. You could hear a pin drop in that silence. And I mean, my poor mom, this story still gets a kick out of everybody, is once I said I'd join the Marine Corps, just this bag of Doritos comes out of nowhere, and she's like, you really did? And I go, yeah, I'm going to let you guys just marinate in this. I'm going to go take a shower and do something else. But once the initial shock had set in, they were extremely supportive and emotional about it. Especially Lizzie. She knew I was leaving, and the dynamic for her was going to shift because Susan and I had always, been on either side of her when she was dealing with basically everything. But yeah, that was the catalyst that got me to join the Marine Corps. Now, like 9/11 had happened. That was an initiating factor. Family members. But yeah, the final straw was getting yelled at work. Lo and behold, I'm going to go join another job where I'm going to get yelled at. boot camp in 05, dropped in March of 05, and like all the recruiters, everybody that had gone before, they're like, just keep your eyes forward, shut your mouth, keep moving. If you're gonna get hazed, you're gonna get thrown through the ringer, you might as well just mentally prepare for it now. He's like, there's nothing you're going to do right ever. You're gonna get thrown into the deep end with a bunch of sharks and they're going to chew you up. Okay, easy enough. Getting to boot camp, it was unique because I had been hearing stories of like classes that went through with like 50 plus recruits. Ours had like 28. So we had a very small class. So when they put us through the ringer, you were getting put through the ringer like 3 or 4 times a day. And I mean, it was stacked against a smaller class. As far as boot camp, it's ironic going from like your family and your way of doing things to I'm in this squad bay with 27 other guys I don't know. We're all supposed to rely on each other, and they're making us do the weirdest shit. Like, hey, run naked into the shower. Hey, run back out naked into the shower. Now duck walk naked around the thing. And I'm like, the fuck does this have to do with like a military? Like, my balls are dragging on the floor and I'm duck walking and they're like, get louder now. It's like, okay, fine. I guess it's just a regular Tuesday here. As far as like my drill instructors, I thought they were great. Like our SDI, he always articulated what he was doing, why he was doing it. And then the 3 other kill hats, the other 3, these guys were just pit bulls who would, I mean, there must be a thing about being a drill instructor. I never was one, but they must get like a serious kick out of seeing, 18, 19-year-olds just losing their minds. For me, some of the stuff, yeah, I was kind of like, okay, I'm not used to that. Some of the stuff, I had the hardest time not to just like crack up laughing. So we had this one DI, he came from recon. This guy was so like itty bitty, he could just hide anywhere. So if he caught, like if you were going to do something stupid and you thought you were going to get away with it, no, he caught you. So there was one time, I think it was a Sunday, so everyone else had gone to church and mass, and I had fire watch, and they're like, well, straighten up the squad bay while everyone's gone. So I took that was I'm going to crawl under the racks, put my hands in the little springs, and make it look like I'm doing something, but in actuality, I'm gonna get my sleep. I'm gonna get caught up on sleep. So I do that. Sergeant Martin, that was his name. He somehow finagles his way in and crawls right up on me. And I mean, I'm out cold. I'm dead to the world. And all I hear is just the softest whisper. Hello, Dolan. That's how he pronounced my name, was Dolan. And I kind of just, I'm fucked, aren't I? He goes, yeah. Why don't you get up out of here? And I mean, about the sweetest voice I've ever heard, but I was like, you're fucked. So yeah, I got hazed for about 3 hours after that. As far as boot camp, it was a weird way they had set it up too. They had moved the crucible into the middle of training. So by the end of the 2nd month, I had already done the crucible. And then the 3rd and final phase was just like uniforms and final drill, like all the dog and pony stuff in order to leave. And I think I had heard someone say that they put it in the middle so they didn't have guys like limping around at graduation. like from the Crucible. So after the second month, it was actually fairly easy. It was a weird way to do it. So, but like we didn't get our EGAs at the top of the Crucible. Like we just did it, had our breakfast, and then went back down to the depot. No, just because we had done the Crucible, we weren't Marines yet. We had just done the Crucible. We didn't get our EGAs until the day before graduation, the family day or whatnot. But yeah, they didn't let up at all. It was still, you guys are recruits. We're still going to fuck with you relentlessly. And I was like, oh, that's ironic. Like we did the whole become the Marine part and we're still getting treated like this. I know that they've switched it back. So like the Crucible's now at the end of recruit training. It was just one of those weird things that they tried. My MOS was an 0331 infantry machine gunner. That dropped in ITB after, like, we graduated boot camp. We had our little vacation time. Picked up. Actually, I didn't pick up until a few weeks after boot camp. So I graduated boot camp, had my 10-day break, go to ITB with the guys I went to boot camp with, but I had a death in the family. So they sent a Red Cross message. I went home, and then the guys I went to boot camp with picked up before me. So I came back. They were gone. I was with a whole new crop of everybody. I didn't know a single person. So I chilled in Camp Guard, for 2-3 weeks maybe. And then picked up with my cycle. That would have been like maybe July. The irony of me going home for my grandmother's funeral was the guys I went to boot camp with took off, and the guys that I picked up with in ITB are the guys I've known for 20 plus years. So that one personal dilemma is what gave me the camaraderie that I have today. Yeah, I still talk to as many as I can, as often as I can, which that always gets difficult. But yeah, no, Charlie Company, they made me a machine gunner just because at that time I was just a big guy, and it was the best decision ever because I love machine guns. There's no better job. As far as ITB, the amount of exhaustion that they were putting us through, and they put us through the ringer. There was one night I was dead asleep, and my buddy Caleb, I think he was on fire watch. He says, I'm dead to the world asleep. My eyes are still shut. I pull my blanket off. I get up. I walk out of the squad bed, go to the bathroom, come back in, and crawl right back into bed. At no point did my eyes open once. And he still laughs about it to this day because he followed me into the bathroom and then followed me back. And he's like, how the hell did you do that? And I'm like, dude, I was just fucking exhausted. I don't even think I realized I was doing it. It was just muscle memory at that point. So after graduating SOI, we dropped to 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, and I dropped to Lima Company with 3 other machine gunners, 2 weapons platoon. Our reception, yeah, they had a crop of fresh meat, right off the buses. My seniors were Phantom Fury vets, so they were everything you thought the Marine Corps would be. These guys are here to fuck your shit up, and they did. They were relentless. First week, it was, man, what weren't they doing to us? Like thrashing your room, putting you through the ringer. And not, I mean, everything was structured, but it was meant to just discombobulate you from sunrise to sunset. So you wake up, you try and get something to eat, you go PT, you're doing knowledge for 3 hours. If you get anything wrong, you're doing push-ups until you think you have it remembered. Go check out guns, go do gun drills. They're fucking with you on the guns. All in preparations to get us ready for a deployment that was maybe 1 to 2 months away. So we dropped in September, October timeframe, and we were getting ready to pump out in January. So they had very little time to get us ready for, on their level, was Phantom Fury. So we're all like, well, we got to be on their level. We were prepped to leave for Fallujah in 2006. So we had one training evolution and one smaller one too, and then we were out the door ready to go. So we leave January of 06, drop into Fallujah, and that first night, that was when reality hit. We get off the planes, we load up on our trucks, and then we're going through a black city. And I mean, if anybody's been there, and if the city's blacked out, there's no electricity, and it's an illuminated night, those buildings are looming, and you're just this little dickhead who's 19 from Kansas with this rifle sitting over a truck side. You're like, oh fuck, what the hell did I get myself into? Dropped out to ECP 5, which was one of the main like entry points into the city. So they tasked us with that. So we're embedded with thousands and thousands of Iraqi citizens coming in and out of the city each day. The unit that we had ripped with, they were like, this is the one spot where they're trying to get everything that we pushed out of the city back into it. So vehicles were coming in, we're searching vehicles. And I mean, like those first 2 weeks, we're pulling weapons out of vehicles. We're pulling HVIs, a high value individual, just so somebody connected to that cell in Fallujah at the time, like thousands of people coming in on foot, hundreds of vehicles coming in and going out. It was comparatively, it was like going through an airport and dealing with the TSA, except we were the TSA. We're just not as stupid. Those first couple of weeks, I mean, we're picking apart everything. We're pulling weapons out of every nook and cranny. High value individuals would come through, HVIs, like, hey, we've been looking for you, like you're coming with us. And then dealing with just everyday Joe Schmoes. I knew that these were like the first two things that it made it even more real. There was a guy who lived a couple of houses down from us. He was feeding us intel and information. One day we come off our shift and like there's this blue bongo truck in there, and this dude is like knelt beside it and he looks distraught. I mean, he's just beside himself. And we're all kind of like, hey, what's he doing here? So we walk over. His kid was in the bed of the truck. AQI had found out he was giving us intel and rolled his son up and just mangled the fuck out of him, chopped him up, mutilated him, and dead as a doornail in the back of this bongo truck. And he's upset. We're all kind of like, well, what do we do now? And they're like, nothing. I was like, well, that's pretty fucking shitty. Like, this dude was feeding us intel and we're not going to do anything. And I mean, this kid must have been like 10 or 11. So I think I was still 19 at the time. I'm like, we're not doing anything. All right, well, there's a reality check. So spent the rest of the day just going about normal business. And then like a couple days later, the first time I got shot at, I didn't even realize I'd been shot at. I was out at this greeter post we had set up and checking IDs. It's like guy and his girl walk up, and I look left, I take a drink of water, and I hear this snap. And I mean, I thought it was just one of those little poppers you threw. And I hand the ID back, and I look at this kid, and I'm like, hey, don't fucking throw fireworks at me. So I start snapping at her, and then I see like chunks of T-wall. Wait, what the? Oh, fuck. And then I look down, the round is embedded in the T-wall. And I mean, it could have easily have taken my arm off. And I had no idea what had just happened. So we call it in, they come rolling out, and they're like, yeah, man, well, popped your cherry. And I go, popped my fucking cherry? Could have lost my fucking jerk-off hand. And they're like, dude, you're fine. You didn't actually get shot. You got shot at. And I go, oh, that makes sense. So, okay, I'm good. And as the deployment progressed, where we were at ECP5, we were QRF for the company. So different platoons scattered in different parts of the AO, we were always getting a call because there was always something going on. So QRF, you go tear assing out because usually something was going on. And I think this was right around the time Super Troopers had come out. So if you heard QRF rolling out, you heard me screaming, you boys like Mexico? Yeah! And I mean, tear assing out of this Humvee, and I got this 50 cal with me. So if you heard me screaming that, you knew we were going out to do something. I mean, even to this day, my buddy JD called, and he's like, man, I still hear you screaming that in my sleep. And I'm like, that's because everybody likes Mexico. Man, that first deployment though was nonstop something. And to compare them to like Phantom Fury, it was nothing on that level. It was just constant somethings. So as far as like firefights, not a whole lot. And I mean, couple of pop shots, you return fire, they're gone. IDF, the only close call I had with IDF, that first deployment was, I'm up on machine gun post 1 and I wasn't feeling well. So I got the squirty dumplings bad. And I'm like, dude, I gotta fucking shit. And if I shit up here, they're gonna get pissed. But like if I ask to get relieved so I can go take a shit, they're gonna get pissed. So either way, I'm screwed. So I call down and I'm like, dude, I gotta take a shit. Comes up, and I mean, I book it. I book it down by the human engagement team tents, and they have a little wag bag, little foldable shitter, and quick throw my bag in there, and all of a sudden I hear thunk. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like the one time I have to take a shit, I hear a shot out. And like, I hear the impact and I'm like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I'm like drenched in sweat. I can't stop shitting. My flak's open. I got my helmet on, pants are down. And then I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die on the toilet. So I'm sitting there with my rifle, and I mean, I'm just pissing out of my ass. I can't stop shitting. Second shot out, and it's getting walked in. But I think the fear of it was more inducing than anything, because counter battery would always pick them up if they fired anything more than 3 shots. So I'm sitting there. I can't stop shitting. The second shot out happens, and then this staff NCO that was running the het tent pops the door open, and he starts screaming at me. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Take cover." I'm sitting there with my rifle. I'm like, "Dude, I can't stop shitting. I can't stop shitting." And he's losing his mind at me. He's like, "Get the fuck up. Get the fucking cover." And I'm like, I'm not fucking going back in there with my seniors and all my buddies covered in my own shit. Like, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die clean. Like, that kid held his ground. He was taking a shit, but he didn't fucking move. Third shot rings out. And I mean, I think the closest it got was maybe like 100 meters. So it was nowhere near me. Just the idea that, oh, dude, I'm going to die on the fucking crabber. That was pretty wrenching. And I think I felt worse for my mother. It's like, well, what happened? Well, he was taking a shit. Wait, that's how he died? Well, yeah. That shit happens. But like progressing through that deployment, like there were things of notoriety. That was the deployment that the rifle that was taken from snipers with 2.4. That deployment, they got that rifle back. And we only knew about it because where we were at, we were sitting QRF for what was going on. The story behind getting that rifle back, in 2004, 4 Marines were killed in Ramadi from a different battalion, and insurgents had taken their weapon, which, for any one of us, you lose your weapon, that's a big deal. It was a sniper rifle. I think the story that was told to me is that they had fallen asleep on top of a roof. They were found, they were executed, the rifle was taken. And because I remember seeing the story like printed in papers. When we got to Fallujah in 2006, there was a sniper rolling around. I think his name was Juba. A lot of that DC sniper stuff he was doing. So, like drill 2 holes in the trunk of a car, one for your scope, one for your barrel, and you just take random shots, and then you're in a vehicle, you pull away. I forget like who the main elements were for that operation, but they were tracking him to take him out. And we're just over at ECP5 sitting QRF because we know that they're out and about. The operation goes down, and when they're doing their BDA or their battle assessment, that the after action, they open up the vehicle to inspect it, and sure enough, like sure shit, the rifle is in the back of the car, and like it was put out, and they're like, we got the rifle back from those 4 guys in Ramadi. So, I mean, as distant as I was from being a part of that situation, it was like, oh, dude, that's fucking shit hot. Like, hell yeah. Like, that accolade can be given to them. And then like, oh, well, I was sitting QRF for that. I didn't do anything, but that's pretty fucking cool. And then like different operations that we were doing. One was a big one, Operation Texaco, which was, the operation was to systematically keep an eye on different fuel stations around the city because insurgents would go hold them up for money to fund their operations. So that was a big one. I know it was like a week-long thing. So we were always out and about, either on foot or we were moving from one place to another. Like anything of like extreme value came out of that. Not that I know of. I don't even think I was a Lance Corporal at the time. I hadn't been promoted yet. And then what else happened that deployment? Operation Christmas Carol. There was a reporter named Jill Carroll. I think she had been kidnapped years prior. The timeline for that I couldn't tell you. She had been kidnapped, and the guys responsible for it were in and around our AO. So again, like we're sitting QRF. Yeah, they rolled those guys up. Found the guys that kidnapped her. And then like anything of like notoriety on those levels, no. And I mean, none to my recollection. The rest of our time there was driving around, getting shot at and blown up. It was almost more unnerving not seeing who you were fighting versus, okay, they're right there, we're right here. That's easy enough. It's just a straight up fight. We were just, and at least for me anyways, I was always on edge, especially like when you got to certain parts of the AO that we were at. So like the Shark's Fin was just west of Fallujah past ECP-5, and it was a long stretch of road that went from Fallujah to Ramadi. And after Phantom Fury, that's where everything was pushed out. So if you were going out to the Shark's Fin, you knew something was going to happen. Lots of IEDs. And I mean, almost just not countless, but I mean, to the point where you're like, dude, I don't want to go to a fucking Shark's Fin today. Like, I don't feel like getting blown up or shot at or anything. My first IED experience was actually my birthday. I turned 20. They kind of gave me the day off, and then they had to go to the Mech, which was just one of the big forward bases on the other side of the city. They're like, Dolan, you got the day off. It's your birthday. Go get something to eat. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's fine. So we're flying through the city, and all of a sudden I hear this, like I turn around and I just see a big plume of smoke, and I'm like, oh shit, punch it, like IED. They're like, what? I said IED, like that's what I'm telling you. Just an improvised explosive device. And I think it was a surface laid like bag of grenades. Like it wasn't anything. The one time it was way too close for comfort for me was we were south of the city on Route Iron. We were just taking different houses and moving Overwatch and running foot patrols out of these houses. We do a supply run real fast, and I'm in the fourth vehicle, no less. We're pulling into the driveway. The first three vehicles roll over this IED that nobody's aware of. And I'm in the fourth Vic. I'm in the turret. We roll over it and we detonate it. And I'm gone. I have actually no recollection of it actually happening. This, like, me telling the story is what I was told from guys who pulled me out of the vehicle and brought me into the house. So we detonate this double stacked 155. It was jam packed with like C4. And the only reason any of us survived was because they buried it too deep. So instead of blowing outwards, it just blew straight up. Like it cracked the axle, ripped off a big chunk of the Humvee, and then just overpressure straight up, which is what knocked me out. my buddy Caleb and somebody else, they came to get us out of the vehicle. The guys in the truck, they were rattled. But I guess they had gotten out like no problem. They came over to me, they opened the door, and apparently I just fall out like wet spaghetti. Like my buddy Caleb even said, he's like, dude, I thought you were dead. And I'm like, no, I'm not dead. And it sure as fuck hurt though, because I didn't come to until I got into the house and I had like everybody screaming at me. They're like, dude, are you all right? And I'm like, all right, get the fuck off me. I'm like, God, I got a headache, man. Leave me the fuck alone. Wait a minute, what the fuck happened? And they're like, you almost got fucking dead. And I go, oh. Well, does this mean we're not getting dinner tonight? But they saw I was in a bad way. I was discombobulated as shit. So they strap me up, they load me up, and we go tear ass into TQ, which was the big air base even farther south of the city. And I'll never forget that trip too, because I'm in the back. I've got this neck brace on, like my Kevlar's kind of cattywampus, and I'm strapped to this stretcher. And I look at my buddy Jimmy and I'm like, dude, give me a cigarette. And he's like, yeah, sure. So I'm smoking, but my buddy Brandon is driving. And I mean, God love him. He's hitting every bump and pothole he could fucking find. So all I feel in the back of this truck is the stretcher getting tossed and slamming down, tossed and slamming down, tossed and slamming down. And I'm like, this is worse than the fucking IED. We get to TQ. They start to offload me. And this is, I'm back to coherence. I'm still in a shit ton of pain, but I'm back to coherence. And the medical team, they come to offload me. And this fucking dickhead sergeant, and I only knew it was a sergeant because I was looking at it upside down. This dude forgets to buckle his Kevlar. So he comes to offload me and he starts to like look down and he's like, oh, hey killer, how are you? Kevlar falls, just turtle fucks my face. And I mean, right here in the chin. And it's like, oh. And I mean, I was seeing red. I start trying to like get out of this stretcher and he's like, oh buddy, we'll get you unhooked. And I'm like, once I'm unhooked, you better not be fucking around because I'm going to beat the shit out of you for that one. They bring me into the medical bay. They're doing all their checks and they're doing all their checks. Well, one of the things is to check for internal bleeding, especially if you've been around an explosion. You can rupture a lot of stuff and like looking at you, you wouldn't be able to tell you're bleeding internally. So the doctor rolls in and he's like, hey bud, I gotta jam a finger up your butt. And I'm like, don't you fucking stick anything up my butt. Like you do that, I'm gonna kick you. Well, I'm still strapped to this board and they're like starting to roll me over. Well, I'm like, the rage has set in and I'm just like, get the fuck off of me. I get a leg loose and sure as shit, I'm like, hello, there's a fucking dude's finger in my butt. Finally got my leg loose. And I mean, I wallop this guy. And I mean, right in the thigh. He's like, I mean, he screamed. I kicked him so hard. And then after that, they realized I was okay, but I don't think that word had circulated to everybody. So like a couple of minutes later, I'm still upset about a finger in my butt. There's a priest that walks in. And I go, what the fuck is he doing here? He's like, I'm here to give you your last rites. And I go, fuck that shit. I'm not fucking dying right after this guy put a finger in my butt. Like, fuck no, I am not going out today. Like, you guys can go straight to fucking hell. And the priest, I mean, does a 180. And you're like, he's fine. Simultaneously, though, my uncle, who was former Marine, he was out there on contract. He had just left prior to me getting hit. So he was back in the States. He had 2 buddies that were there in the hospital. And I mean, they're like right outside. They can hear me kicking and screaming and fucking just causing hell strapped to this stretcher, just trying to get away from everybody. So he was able to relay to my family, even before they had found out that I had been hit, that, yeah, he's fine. And I was able to call him later that day. So that was a nice little guardian angel moment, was Uncle Brian sending his buddies in to check on me. And they're like, dude, he's fucking fine. As far as 06 went, it was a lot of going and a lot of little somethings, pop shots, drive-bys, random IDF. It was more mental, at least for me anyways, because I'm thinking I'm going to be looking for this dragon to slay that's going to be on the level of Phantom Fury. It wasn't that, but neither here nor there. This was just the cards that we were dealt. Like, we were fighting how do you articulate? You're fighting ghosts. And yeah, that's pretty much how my first deployment went. A lot of like way too close for my fucking taste. My second deployment was back to Fallujah. So yeah, it went from what we finished in like August 06, came back, trained, reset, got our boot drop, and we're getting ready to go back again. So by this time, like, all the buddies that I had dropped with were all salty Lance Corporals who don't know their ass from their elbow. We're going back to Fallujah. So we have to take over from where our seniors, they left, or a group of them had taken off. A few were still there. And we're getting ready to step up into our leadership roles as, small unit leaders. So the drop that we had, though, was astounding, because unbeknownst to us, they had been sitting over at 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines for about 6 months. So we get back from my first deployment, we find out we got noob guys to fuck with. We're gonna go, it's our time now. We're gonna get ours. So we go terrassing over there. We're all fucking liquored up, and we bust into their room, and we just start screaming just basic knowledge questions like, what's the weight of the 240? What's this? What's that? And for the life of me, like, they're not getting any of them wrong. And I'm like, but how the fuck do you guys know all this shit? Like, didn't you guys just graduate ITB? And they're like, oh, no. Like, we've been chilling over at 3-1 for like the last 6 months. And I go, oh. Like, you guys want beer or something? Like, I got no reason to fuck with you. And so they drop, and the unit cohesion we had, especially with weapons platoon, that was a huge dynamic for us. And then command decided to split up weapons platoon and drop us and scatter us all to hell. And like, we're not even rolling with our weapon systems. We're just regular 11s now. So that second Fallujah pump compared to my first was night and day. We were thinking we're going back into, a shitstorm of IEDs, everything that had happened previously. No, complete opposite. It was a Firewatch deployment. Now, things were going on in the city. I think, like, an Army MIT team had been hit a few times. There was a V-bed just a bit outside of our AO. I think they had found like a weapons cache just outside of our AO. But as far as us, I didn't fire a fucking shot. Like, our patrols were being planned on whose house we were going to dinner to. Like, so we would take patrols out to go eat fucking dinner. Like, we would load up our DVD player. We would take like DVDs for the kids. It was a lot of humanitarian stuff. That's a double-sided coin, because the guys that had been dropped to us, they were wanting to get theirs. And for us coming into those, small unit leadership roles, like, yeah, we'll get you into it. We'll take care of you. It's just not the cards we were dealt that deployment. Now, there were things that happened that were pretty bad. Like the first 2 weeks we were there, we had an escalation of force go wrong, and a 4-year-old little girl was killed. And I mean, as soon as it happened, it was over with. So we take this patrol out. We take a patrol out, and this was us just getting to know the little area that we were in. Take the patrol out. We come up onto this road, and there's this like van, and it's flying. So for all of us that had been on that previous deployment, oh shit, like, this is a possible V-bed. So we go through the steps as quickly as they could have been done. And those steps were, you try and get their attention. You wave this little flag. If you have enough time, pop some pyro, like a little pyrotechnic in this little pipe, puts a big flash out there to get someone's attention. Basically, all we had enough time to do was wave a flag, which was a little dinky little thing that, like, you're not going to see that down the street. And moving forward in those escalation steps is you shoot at the ground, you shoot at the engine, and then if time permitting, you aim for the driver. It was, I think, within like 6 to 10 seconds that all of the reaction times were taken. And round skipped off the deck, went through the windshield, and clipped her right above the collarbone. So when the bus stops, everybody's coming off, and it's still unbeknownst to us that she's been shot. All of a sudden, we see someone screaming from the back, like, get the fuck out of the way. Our interpreter, our corpsman was there. I wish we had a different corpsman for that one. He kind of froze up. The reality of that hit him hard. And he kind of like, dude, do your fucking job. And as soon as she's off the bus, we see her. Some Iraqi police officer had scooped her up, threw her in the truck, and then took her to the hospital. So we didn't find out she had died until like later that day. And then we take another patrol out to go to the family. And we take like a couple of bags of rice, a couple of like backpacks for the kids. And I mean, like we kind of just killed your daughter, but like, here's some pencils and shit. And I know that there's a big cultural difference with that. But like, they were like hospitable. They were grateful that we were there. And I'm like, this is a huge disconnect for me, and being 20, 21 maybe. That was a pretty shitty experience. And the fact that I have 2 younger sisters, I was internally beside myself, but on the outside, you weren't going to show that to anyone around you, and none of us really did. And it wasn't until years later that the one who was truly involved in that situation, he killed himself over it. It sucked to hear about that. And retrospectively, of course, we kind of needled him about it too. Like just trying to be gruff, like, well, we're fucking vets. You're not supposed to feel that, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, damn, I feel pretty shitty about that. But as far as that deployment, that was pretty much the one and only thing I knew that was going on. That was on the level of sticking with me. And I mean, it went for everybody else as well. I mean, that was like, yeah, that's what we did. I don't know. That doesn't sit well. It still doesn't. And I still think about that all the time. But like moving past that, because that was first 2 weeks of the deployment, we still had another 7 months to get through. Luckily for us, we had a great platoon commander. Squad leaders were on the level, and I was just a team leader. So it was, as much as we weren't doing anything, like operations combat wise, there was just nothing going on at that time. There was the Great Awakening. And I'm like, when I got there, I was like, the Great Awakening? You mean like we're just paying everybody not to fight us? Well, yeah. Oh, so when we stop paying them, they're going to get pissed and start fighting us. Well, yeah. Okay, how long can we really get that? How much longevity can we get out of that? Because we're eventually going to run out of fucking money. And they're like, maybe we didn't think that far ahead. And I go, yeah. Kind of like weapons of mass destruction too. The rest of that deployment, I can honestly say, was a lot of fun. Our platoon commander, like one of the best officers I've ever seen. He's that type that you guys know your job. My job is to just issue your orders and you carry them out. So he was a great leader. And then we had a squad leader come back who had done the invasion in 2003, got out, wasn't, either he was over what he was doing or he wasn't enjoying it. I'd have to talk to him about it, but he comes back in, Ryan. And I mean, he was like the foundation of that platoon. Like, this dude knows his shit. He would go to hell 10 times over for any one of us. And then he would always make sure that we were having fun as well. So having that leadership transition from my seniors, he took over because my seniors were afraid of him. And I go, wait a minute. Like, you guys scare the shit out of me and you're scared of him? Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll shut the fuck up. That was a great, like, mentorship to have. And especially on that deployment too, when not a whole lot was going on. And like, to make it fun, like, we were going to different people's houses, dinner, like stuff that we would do here in the States. It's just in Fallujah. And after those first 3 months, the monotony kind of set in where everybody's getting complacent. Nothing's fucking happening. They're like, we don't even need to take patrols out. We can just call in pause reps and then everybody's in the next room asleep. So there was a lot of monotony and complacency about the middle part of that. And I mean, we would take patrols down to Fob Reaper, which was just a little bit bigger forward operating base. to steal like jalapeno poppers and like honey buns. We're like, hey, let's go rat fuck down the street. Like they're getting all the good stuff and we're eating veal and potato out of this dirty Iraqi police station. I mean, it was good. I had it like every morning, like $2. I had 5 veal and potatoes every morning. And then this isn't a story that hasn't gotten around a whole lot, but we call it the Night of the Cobras. So we're all kind of just fed up with being there. We're not doing anything, and we get this like gross of eggs and like a couple satchels full of eggs, and we all kind of look at each other and we're like, hey, you guys want to go out tonight and egg houses? Yeah. Oh my God. We leave the house. We go maybe 2 or 3 blocks away and we find this blown out house. We leave our corpsman in there because by that time he was kind of just like, okay, you're just here. Watch our gear. We're going to go have fun. We leave our gear there, take our helmets off, flax are off. We grab a magazine each plus the one in our rifle. And then we just start scaling these buildings, these houses, and we're going rooftop to rooftop. Nobody knows we're out. Nobody knows we're on top of their house. Nobody knows that we're there. We find this one house, and it's got this little pavilion area, and it's overlooking an Iraqi police post. And there's 2 guys down there, like IPs. So at the time we started our little hijinks that night, we weren't really thinking that culturally, do these kids run around here and egg people's houses like they do in the States? No, we weren't thinking like that. So we're on this little balcony and there's me, there's Justin, Jason, Mario. There was somebody else there. I'm having trouble remembering who it was. So we pop up, chuck a couple eggs at this IP post, and we can hear them down there. They're like, "Oh, hey, what the fuck?" We pop back down, wait a couple of minutes, pop back up, throw more eggs at them, throw some eggs across the street, hit these houses, and like we're just like giggling like little shitheads. And I mean, 5 early 20s American U.S. Marines just giggling like little shitheads who were in 4th grade. That's what it was to us. So we do it like 3 or 4 more times to these Iraqi cops. And the 5th time we do it, we nail them. All of a sudden, whoop, 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 whoop. There's like 14 Iraqi police trucks out of nowhere. And these guys are fucking screaming. And there's like 30 of them down there. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So we duck down. Justin and I are looking at each other. We're like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, if they're going to get pissed if they find out it's us. Like, we got to get the fuck out of here. We tell everybody we're about to move and we're going to go through the house. It's not ours. We're just going to break into this house, sneak through it, and then try and get out the back door. Kind of tell everybody that, hey, we're going to go through the house. We're going to go back to get our gear and we're going to book it north. Finally gets to Mario, and Mario's fucking deaf. He can't hear shit. So in like this pitch silence in the dark of night, we're like, what? Mario, shut the fuck up. What? Mario, shut the fuck up. What? look at Justin. I'm like, fuck it, dude. He can't hear shit. Just grab him. So we're leaving the house. And as we're making our way into the house, I can hear Iraqi police officers just, they're racking their rifles. And I'm like, oh my God, they're going to fucking shoot us. And we don't have any gear on. And Lieutenant Rossi's going to be really fucking mad at us. So like, we're not worried about getting shot. We're worried about getting in trouble. Not realizing that getting shot is, that's a lot of fucking trouble. So I make my way to the door and I'm pushing it open. I'm trying to be as quiet as I can. Unbeknownst to me, the owner of the house is on the other side of the fucking door. He can hear all this and he's coming up. So I'm pushing it open. I can't see shit. So I have my Surefire on my rifle and I give it just a tap on the pressure pad to give me a quick flash to get a quick glance at my surroundings. Well, I do that and all I see is this old Iraqi face in front of mine. And I mean, the girliest fucking scream comes out of my mouth. Just, I flash. I bulldog through this guy. I'm terror-assing down the fucking house. And I'm fucking laughing too, by the way. And I'm like, oh my God, we are in so much fucking trouble. We finally bust out of the door and I really can't see at this point. It's really dark out. So luckily I had my 14s in my pocket. I pull them up. I hold them up and I'm seeing flashes. I go, what the fuck is that? Like, I'm thinking it's a Dazzler, which is like this beefed up laser pointer. I pull it down, but I'm like, you can see Dazzlers without NVGs. So I hold it up again. I'm seeing the same fucking things and I can't place it. So I was like, fuck it, get back to the gear. We need to get the fuck out of here. And like behind us too, you can hear the Iraqi police officers like, hey, get the fuck back here. We're like, nope, fuck you. We get back, we get to our gear, we book it north, just towards the middle of the city, any which way we can go. And we call in this fake pause rep. So they think we're up here doing something. No, we were on a balcony egging houses and Iraqi police officers. We finish out the night. Nothing else happens. We get back to the house and Lieutenant Rossi's up. He's like, where the fuck have you all been? We're like, what are you talking about? We're out on patrol. He's like, fuck, did you have comms with Airs? And we're like, no, I told you that we dropped the fill in our, was it a 152? Anyways, we had dropped the fill in our radio that had communication with air. So we didn't have any contact with whoever was on station at the time. And he's like, Lieutenant Rossi's pissed. He's like, fuck, man, we had Cobras on station and they were calling in that they had this fucking 5-man element moving around the city causing mischief. And I mean, kind of give that side eye to everybody that was there doing it. And I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. Like, we totally would have hunted those guys down. All the while, it was us. Cobras had eyes on us doing this shit. And then were following us. And I'm like, I look at Justin and it was just one of those, as quiet as can be, nonchalant. We never speak of this again, ever. And I mean, to this day, very few people know that story. And I'm like, dude, can you imagine if they fucking like just decided to do a gun run on us? Like there's you don't come back from that. So the night of the Cobras was just buffoonery taken to the utmost limit of advance. And I'm like, if that had gone in, like that could have been a really bad night. Like either we would have been schwacked by Iraqi police officers or our own Cobras. And like that probably was the pinnacle of that deployment. The rest of the time was, honestly, it was a lot of goofing off. there was a lot of camaraderie built. And then we had gotten intel. Someone had called in some intel like, hey, we got a weapons cache in this house. So we get told, we gear up. We're getting ready. Like, we're finally like, we get our one mission, this deployment. We're gearing up and we book it. And we're rolling with like 2 squads. Like, we really wanted to get one in, especially for the newer guys. Like, we're going to hit this house hard. We're going to fuck shit up. We're going to get you guys, you know, your story. We get intel on the house. We go to the house and like the days of old, like we bust through, like we hit this house fucking hard. We get in there. It's a family. It's like a 3-tiered house. There's a family in there. They all start wigging the fuck out. We're clearing out the house all the way up. We're sectioning everybody off, like women and children here, like the men over here. We get through the house. There's nothing in the fucking house. We're like, guys, I don't think this is the fucking house. So we called it in. We asked for an intel update to see if they'd gotten us anything. And while we're getting this update, I can hear screaming downstairs. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? I was like, there's like 2 dudes in here and it's just women and children. Like, who the fuck is screaming? I go downstairs. Well, we had put our corpsmen in their kitchen area to watch the women and the children. We're like, medic, corpsman, whomever. Okay, a doctor, women and children. Just keep an eye on them. He's the one who's screaming. And I mean, he's got his rifle up and he's screaming at him. He's like, where's the fucking weapons? Where's the fucking weapons? And I mean, losing his mind. And it's not one of those things where I come up behind him, I grab him, I'm like, hey, dude, calm it down. I'm standing in this doorway like, what the fuck are you doing? What the 8-year-old is going to know where it's at? Like the women who doesn't speak English, so she's going to know where it's at? Like, knock it off, Doc. You're scaring the shit out of them. Like, they don't fucking know anything. It's a rum fucking house. And he's like, oh, my bad. And I'm like, what the fuck were you trying to get out of them? Where the weapons of mass destruction were at? Jesus, man, calm it down. And I mean, I was stunned at like, dude, what are you doing? Like, stop it. Just knock it off. We get an intel update. There's another house down the road that it might be at. Yeah, no, it was a fucking bust. So we hit this house. Some of us go up onto the rooftops. We jump from one roof to another, and we systematically clear the house up and down. Just there's nothing in the house. And I mean, there's a couple of slabs of, you know, like granite. And they get another intel update that it might be here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking done running around. So I grabbed Frank, and we had this old blown out like barrel of an AK. And they're like, you guys stay here and search this house. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to stay here and search this house. And I'm like, dude, let's make a quick hole right here and then just take a nap. So we pried up this one slab of concrete. We're like, nope, didn't find anything. There was no weapons cache. There was nothing. And I mean, it went from finally to, okay, I'm over this bullshit. Like, we're done. And to this day, they're like everybody there, like Tommy, Corey was there, Frank, they're like, man, like we did everything right. It just, there was nothing, there was no payoff for it. And that's kind of how that second pump to Fallujah for me was we got to do a lot. We had a lot of fun. There was nothing to really pay out other than nobody got hurt. Nobody came home dead. And like, we have a lot of great fucking stories, especially the fucking Cobras though. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like they were watching us the whole time. So after we came back from Fallujah my second time, it was the same coming back, rest, refit, start training again, and get ready to go. I mean, like, the only thing of notoriety I think that went on that return was the brawl between 3-5 and 2-4, which I think those videos are still out there. The brawl between the battalions didn't even start with the battalions. It started by something completely different. Somebody called someone a name that they shouldn't have. They start chasing him around, and 2-4 was in the barracks kind of behind us, and they start chirping. Well, that put a kibosh on what had originally transpired. So once 2-4 got involved in something that like didn't have anything to do with anybody but these two guys, the switch was flipped, and all of a sudden you hear 3-5 up. So the whole battalion comes out. And like if you break it down, like we usually say 31's up. So anybody who's a 31, you're getting into it. You hear Lima Company up, you're getting into it. Oh man, I forgot about the strip club. Basically it's that unit camaraderie is like, if you hear your units getting into it, you back them up. So you hear 3-5 up and the fight's on. 2-4 just got their shit pushed in that day. And it was ironic because I was on duty and I'm like, I'm not getting involved in it. I'm like, no, fuck no, I'm not going out there. No, I'm not writing down names. No, I don't exist. So I stealthed off, and camp guard comes out. I think the MP showed up. Like, it was a big fucking deal. And there's fucking dickheads drunk and brawling out there on this basketball court, literally over nothing about other than whose dick is bigger. And I'm around the corner like, yeah, no. I'm not having anything interrupt my day off. Like, sorry guys, you guys be over there. I'm right around the corner. And then getting ready for the MEU. That was a big transition, especially while still active duty, because none of us had been on ship. None of us knew anything about that. Even our seniors, I don't recall anyone ever telling us they were on ship. It was Iraq. So this was a new adventure for all of us. Man, the MEU, it was a booze cruise, especially for us. We all kind of we're Iraq vets. We're on this boat and we know what it is. We've just never done it. So it's just bumming it around on a ship, training in these different places. And we know we're not going to get shot at. We know nothing's going to happen. It was just a different setting. So a lot of fun, Thailand, Korea, Philippines, Australia, Japan. These were a lot of cool places we got to go to. And our mentality too, and plus at that time, our machine gun section was just shit hot. Nobody could touch us in the field. And as soon as we were off work, though, we were chaos incarnate, which was kind of our downfall too, because it skylined us so much of all the dumb shit we were doing that we walked a fine line at deployment on straight up belligerency. Even I was getting jaded by the end of it, to the point where I was openly insubordinate to officers. No, I'm not fucking doing that. That's just stupid. Like, we're in Australia. What are you cramming up my cram hole for? Well, you want to go to Fallujah, sir? Well, you can't talk to me that way. I just did. I'm like, I'm done talking to you. Like, you're just cooking up nonsense to stroke your own ego. In retrospect, I wish I had done a little less drinking, and like kind of not been like a 24-year-old dickhead. Like, things of notoriety for a Mew, especially if you got to go to that many places, were like Thailand, Cobra Gold. Like, you get to drink Cobra's blood at the end of that. Going to Korea, you see the DMZ and you see, a lot of historical aspects from different parts of the world, especially tied to us being Marines. So, Marines in Korea, Marines, not so much in Thailand, unless like they were there during the Vietnam era, which I don't think anybody would know about that anyway. The Philippines, oh my God, the fucking Philippines. That was, wow. So, yeah. There's one night where we're all up at this house. We're buying drinks left and right, and we're fucked up. We leave our rifles in this stack, like collected all of our weapons and put them in this place, and we left somebody to watch them while we're just, and like when I say intoxicated, I'm being mild with that. Like, we were just fucking gone. We kind of skirt off, and then we circle back to the house where the weapons were at, because we're about to call it a night. All of a sudden I hear someone say, "Hey, where's my rifle?" And I'm like, I don't know. I got mine. Where the fuck is yours? And I'm like, you better find that fucking shit or we're screwed. So we start looking around. We're asking the family, "Hey, where's the rifle? Like, here's $100. Tell us where the fucking rifle's at." They're not giving it up. We really can't fucking find it. And it's getting to the point where we're all kind of freaking out. And I mean, freaking out so much that we're sober now. And I'm like, guys, ransack the fucking house. Like, tear the house fucking apart. Like, we know somebody in this house took the rifle. We're getting it back. So they're tear-assing it up. I step outside to have a cigarette, and all of a sudden, like, this Filipino Air Force guy comes up out of nowhere, and he's like, "Hey, bud." And in my head, I'm like, okay, who the fuck are you? And why are you here? He's like, "What are you doing?" And I go, "I'm having a cigarette. What are you doing?" So I know why he's there. He knows that I know why he's there. I'm just not giving it to him. So I was like, "Nope, we're good. Nope, we're definitely not missing a rifle." And he's like, "You're sure you're not missing a rifle?" And I go, "Nope, see, I got a rifle there. There's one there. There's another one there." And in my head, I'm flipping the fuck out. I'm like, how the fuck does this guy know that we're missing a rifle? He stealths off back into the dark. It finally gets to the point where, like, okay, like, who's going down for this? Well, obviously the person whose rifle it was, you're going down. It's your fucking rifle. I'm like, is anybody else going down with you? Like, anybody else volunteering to go down with you? So two others stepped up. They went down with them, and we're like, all right, we'll see you on the other side. So the rest of us broke off, snuck back to our tents, and those three, they got reamed hard for that one. And like, as they go and tell our command that, hey, we're missing a rifle, they're like, get the fuck back up there and find it. I'm like, we've already been doing that. So everybody's up now. They go back up, and sure as shit, like, they come back And lo and behold, what's sitting like in this pristine spot where we've all looked? The fucking rifle. And I'm like, either the Filipinos are playing a prank on us or they knew we meant business and we were going to find the rifle. So either way, they got burned. The rest of us stealthed off at night. And yeah, we tried to make it as accommodating for them as possible for the rest of the deployment because they weren't really allowed to go anywhere. Like Korea in February, fucking miserable. I think we all dropped like 40 pounds there. Freezing cold. You got to drink like a whole bottle of NyQuil just to get like 45 minutes of sleep. I only sufficed because I had this like thick Korean robe with this giant white tiger on it. Line that in my sleeping bag because we were using tents from the Korean War. Well, like saw the DMZ, a lot of cultural aspects. Japan, got to go to mainland Japan. I didn't make it to Tokyo, but like the southern part, like took a bunch of tours around Okinawa, Iwo Jima. I mean, like things of notoriety, especially in Marine Corps history, were awesome to see. And Australia, Australia was a lot of fun. We were there for like a month, but they gave us Libo like a week at the start and a week at the end. So I can't remember if the first week was the 4th of July or the last week was 4th of July. Like either way, we were on a boat and we separated from the entire battalion. So Lima Company, we had run of the mill in this one town. And yeah, just women everywhere. They blocked off like one street of bars for us during 4th of July. So it was just a fucking madhouse. And then, my God, I meet this one chick and she's like, have you ever been to a full moon party? And I'm like, isn't that just a rave on a beach? She's like, well, yeah, but it's during a full moon. And I go, I guess that's why they call it a full moon party. She's like, yeah, do you want to come? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Looked around and grabbed one of my buddies. And we went with them. So I go with these two chicks I don't know with my buddy. We get fucked up on this beach party. And we go back to like their little bungalow. And I mean, this was like a small, sleepy little town. Sailboats, surfing. Kind of like, honestly, it's kind of like San Clemente here. I hook up with them. And my buddy goes into chick's bedroom with her. And they're going at it. Her and I, we kind of, like an hour and a half later, just because I was drunk, I was like, hell yeah, that's a performance. And I'm like, no, I just can't feel shit because I'm wasted. We're finished. We're just chilling on the couch. And I hear in the back room, don't go in me. And I'm like, the fuck does that mean? All of a sudden, as soon as she says that, buddy comes tear-assing out of the room. He's butt-ass naked, and he's got his clothes. He's fumbling around in their shoes, and she's in chase after him because he blew his performance in her rather than being smart and use protection, but not as a fucking idiot. And she's pissed. So she's terrorizing after him. I'm cracking up laughing like, what the fuck is going on? I'm chasing after her, who's chasing after him. And I'm like, dude, what did you do? He's like, she told me not to come and I couldn't take it anymore. And so I did. And I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? So I'm fucking laughing my ass off. I'm still chasing him. He still has no fucking clothes on. She finally wears out. And before I started giving chase, I looked at her and I'm like, are we going anywhere after this? She's like, nah, no, not really. Have a good night. And I'm like, all right, cool. Never see you again in my life. And we get back to the boat. He's still not fucking dressed. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're going to get some random Australian chick pregnant and not even know about it? Like, how big of a piece of shit are you? He's like, dude, it's the accent. She told me not to do it, and then I wanted to do it, and then nothing. And I'm like, dude, I got to go to bed. I'm still fucked up. And I think what those chicks gave us might have been roof and all. So I need to go to bed. Because I did. I felt so fucking off after that party. And yeah, the Mew was just debauchery run amok. And there was no like filter. So from Thailand all the way to Australia, I mean, we ended up in like Russian mob bars, from, Australian bars, just causing havoc in each corner of these places. And the downside to that was it took us from a combat-oriented mentality to this type of deployment, all you do is party. So leaving that deployment, it changed a lot of our mentalities and drove away a lot of experience that we had. Unbeknownst to us that we're getting ready to go into Afghanistan. So a lot of experience was driven out. A lot of mentalities have changed. And especially for me, because I was extremely jaded by the end of that deployment. I'd been there for so long because I re-upped on that second deployment to stay with the battalion. So I was staying the same. Everything around me was changing and I wasn't adapting well to it. So like being with 3-5 from 05 coming up on 5 years now, like everything was swapping out. And I mean, not for the bad, I just wasn't handling it very well. So my attitude had changed. I had blown out my shoulder working out on the Mew. So I was dealing with that. Transferred from Lima Company to Weapons Company. And by the time I had left Lima Company, I had a severe case of the mouth, and it wasn't what I was saying, it was how I was saying it. So I was just belligerent as shit with like good reason, but delivering it was not well received because I had a fuck you attitude. Like, this way works. This way works. This is how we've been doing it. You're the fucking new guy. Check yourself. And I'm like, this is fucking staff and COs and officers that I'm talking to. I'm like, well, where have you been? Like, you were presidential guard. Like, I wouldn't trust you with a potato gun. Sorry, sir. You're out of your element on this one. Moving forward, dealing with this shoulder injury and moving to a new company where they didn't know who I was except for like a few people, and they weren't particularly warm to me transferring over. They thought I was just a troublemaker with a bad attitude. But in reality, I was just dealing with shoulder pain, and I mean, I was in a shit ton of pain. My drinking was out of control, and having everything changed around at a moment's notice. And now, as accustomed to that as I was, having it changed that way to do something I felt wasn't correct as far as like training or keeping unit camaraderie. It was different, and I was not open to making those changes. So after the Mew, my career was heading down, and not in a good way. So getting ready for Afghanistan in 2010, I was missing out on a lot of the training due to the shoulder injury, to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not doing another fucking thing until I get this looked at. Sure enough, I start getting into that process and like tore my rotator cuff, tore my labrum, ruptured my bicep tendon, cracked my clavicle. I mean, I really did a number on my shoulder. I even dislocated it and I didn't even realize it. So I go down that process, have my shoulder repaired, and now I'm in the healing phase, but I'm still getting bitched and moaned at that I'm missing training, and I'm in a sling, and I'm like, do you think I'm sitting here watching you guys train while I'm like with booze and strippers? No, I can't fucking do it. You want to make it worse, or you want to let it heal? Okay, use your fucking brain, dude. So once all that was said and done, I still wasn't cleared to deploy. So when Sangin rolled around, the battalion took off, but they left something about a force cap. Like only 80% of the battalion went. And I go, well, who the fuck is the chucklehead that came up with that fucking idea? Like, why would you not take your entire battalion to saturate an area that we know is completely hostile? Oh yeah, no, I'm just a corporal, so it's way outside my pay grade. And as soon as they leave, and I mean, shit hit the fan right from the get-go. I was hearing stories like they're landing under fire. Dudes were getting hurt and killed like the first couple of weeks. Like there was 1 week where we lost 13. And I am just bewildered because I'm still in the States. I'm still dealing with this shoulder injury. I'm trying to push myself through physical therapy as much as I can. And at that time, like Navy Med was, here's a bunch of Percocets, don't drink on it. And I go, who the fuck is that guy? Like, I got a party and a half right here. Then I had the constant refills. Well, all I had to fucking do was say I was in pain. So Sangin kicks off. I'm in the States. We're dealing with that because there was no real system in place for us to have that amount start coming back almost instantly. So I definitely wasn't handling it well because I had already been with the battalion for, I think 5 years at that point. So I knew a lot of everybody, like different companies, and not so much like out training wise, or I wasn't a part of their squad or their teams, was intermingling through the years, out in town, drinking, hanging out. Like, it's just how the things. In our downtime, we were always close knit in and outside of work. And then everybody from different companies would be on the same page. So at that time when they deployed and everybody was getting hurt or killed or, I mean, whatever was going on, my remedy for dealing with that was painkillers and booze, because I was tasked with casualty clerking. My buddy Mike was there, myself, and like God's honest truth, Zach, He hadn't been with the battalion for very long. He came from BRC. For whatever reason, he came from BRC, Basic Reconnaissance Course. He was kind of our light in the dark. He was setting up the system to keep everything organized, because Mike and I, we were beside ourselves. We didn't know how to handle being here while everyone else is out there, like, fighting, doing their jobs, doing what him and I had been trained to do since we dropped in 05. So that was an extremely dark period, and my only remedy to escape it was, again, painkillers and booze, and I wasn't handling it well at all. I was short fused. I almost went after a sergeant major who was just running his fucking mouth about nothing, and then correlated what he was speaking to is why guys were getting hurt and killed. So I think it was Gunny Moreno. He saw, like, me red out, and I'm like, I'm just going to go pop this dude in the mouth and shut him up. He grabbed me by the collar and chucked me out of the room. So my perspective on that deployment is unique, because while here, like, there was a core of us that were assigned to funeral details, the casualty clerking. There was a whole side of deployments that I never knew existed. And I think, like, the biggest one was my buddy Jesse. He got shot in the arm, and he was coming back to the States, and him and I'd known him for years at this point, and we were close. They're like, go get him from, I think it was Miramar. They were landing at Miramar, and you're going to take him to, Balboa in San Diego. So I get word he's coming back. I'm pilled up. I'm drunk. I grab the government vehicle, and I tear ass down to San Diego. Luckily, we had another bub, Cody, who came back from Sangin. He was there. And my buddy Ryan, the squad leader I had in Fallujah, he was there too. So we're tear-assing down. And we get there, I go darting in, and just big cargo plane is landed. It's waiting to be offloaded. And they're putting the ramp up to offload. And unbeknownst to me, I don't even know what's on the plane. I just know Jesse's on the plane. So I'm out there, I'm pacing, I'm dancing around, I'm completely anxiety ridden. I just look like a manic asshole. So it starts being raised up, and I'm like taking crew, and I'm throwing them left and right that are trying to get this ramp up. And I'm like, dude, I'm just going to run and jump into the fucking plane. It gets up there, I get onto the plane, and I freeze. There are stretchers, like 2 or 3 stacked high on either side, going all the way down. There's dudes all fucking mangled and blown the fuck up. And that was a big kick in the nuts of reality. And I'm like, okay, I need to slow the fuck down. Like, these dudes are fucking hurting. So I slow down, and I'm walking through this plane, and I'm like, whoa, like, hey boys, what's up? Welcome the fuck home. I'm like, you guys want some food? And like, these dudes got tubes all up in them. You can see bloody bandages on this plane. And I'm like, what do you want? And he's like, it's one random guy. I don't know his name. He's like, man, I'd go for a Big Mac and some fries. And I'm like, fucking A, you're getting a Big Mac and fries there, fella. Get through the plane, take a couple of food orders from everybody. And I find Jesse. He's sitting by himself on the plane. I start kind of losing my shit, give him a hug, and I'm like, come on, bud. Like, your family, girlfriend's waiting over at Balboa. Like, they're waiting for you. And I'm like, you want anything to eat? Because I'm going to end up doing a food run all night for these guys. He's like, I think it was like something from Wendy's or something. So I get him to Balboa. Cody and Ryan take off. And I spent the rest of that night driving around kind of buzzed with Percocets in my system, going from like Taco Bell to Wendy's to McDonald's, and then taking it back to the hospital for whomever had given me their food order. And that's how I ended the night. And then the funerals that were going on, I was gone. I was doing Roadwalds. Man, I like that kid. He was a weapons company, Bubba. Him, Kane, Vintage, and Dew were all in the same vehicle. They were killed in the same vehicle. And when I had transferred to weapons company for that short time that I was there, Roadwald, him and I clicked. He was a big Oregon Ducks fan. I was not, so I was always giving him shit about it. Just one of the best fucking dudes ever. And I mean, easygoing. He was always wanting to do something. How can I improve here? How can I do this? How can I do this better? I love the Oregon Ducks. I mean, just a kind-hearted kid. I mean, you never saw him without a smile. And there are guys that I know that knew him way better than I ever did. And they would say the same thing. Like, you never had a bad time around him. You didn't have anything bad to say about him. Yeah. So I left to do his funeral, and simultaneously is when one of the flights taking off to catch up with them was. So I was upset that I had missed that flight, but the caveat to this one was I'm not getting what I wanted, but I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Was just being there as a presence for the families who had just lost their son. So that's all I can do. And I didn't realize that point until Gunny Carlisle. At the time, Gunny Carlisle, he had come back. He had gotten hurt. And I mean, just your typical infantry Gunny, just jacked, tattoos, bald, loud, and would do anything for anyone at any given time. He was just that type. So he was always someone to look to, and he liked showing his butt. So he stepped on an IED, mangled. He got hurt, but a lot of it, he like scarring on his ass. And so when he came back, like, he was always like, take a look at my butt. And I'm like, am I allowed to tell you no? I want to look at your butt. He's like, no, look at it. It looks like Hamburger Helper. And I'm like, ugh, it really does. And now for some reason I want Hamburger Helper. And he was a big help to me because, like, once October and November started rolling around, there were just battles upon battles that these guys are doing, and they're rocking this shit. All we hear is all out we were hearing back here was these dudes are kicking ass and taking names. They're not holding back. They are fucking shit up. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. I wish I was there. And simultaneously, guys are still coming back hurt and killed. So my days were staying the same, dealing with casualties, getting ready to go do funerals, pills, and booze. Towards the end of November, going into December, is when Matthew Abate was killed. And I had known Matt since he dropped to Lima Company in 2006. And Matt, I mean, if you didn't know Matt, like, there was something wrong with you. He was, at least in my perspective, I mean, he was you know, this generation's, you know, John Basilone, you know, Audie Murphy. Matt was just that type of guy. He was on that level. He was just beast incarnate. And no, that's not taking away from anyone else, because like guys with accolades, like, oh, okay, you're that type. You're the embodiment of that. And Matt was ours. So, December 2nd, I get a call from a buddy. He's like, dude, is Matt dead? And I go, what are you talking about? I haven't heard that. And I'm in the office where all this shit is supposed to come through. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Go running inside, and I find out that Matt has been killed. So I'm beside myself. And my remedy was to go take a handful of pills and start drinking so I can function and be around anybody at that point. I was really in a bad way. So I'm losing my shit. We're doing all the preparatory work to get ready for Matt's funeral. And I don't know what it was, but this chick walks into our office, and at that time, women hadn't been integrated into the infantry yet. There were certain roles that they were fulfilling that were attached to us, but all in all, women hadn't been brought into the infantry yet. So, excuse me, it was out of place to see her. Like, who the fuck are you? And she's like, I'm here to do escort and funeral duty. And I mean, I'm blown away that just poured out of her mouth, like, without hesitation. Or like, who are you? She's like, I'm so-and-so from, like, 1st Logistics Battalion, just pogues. And the distinguishing thing about the Marine Corps is you have infantry and you have pogues, persons other than grunts. So there's a big black line that when pogues cross into the infantry side, it's kind of fair game. Like, you're in our territory now. She's like, I'm doing this funeral duty. And I'm like, I snap on her. I snapped at her, and I'm like, get your fucking ass out of here. You don't know anybody here. You're not infantry. You're not even a part of this fucking battalion. And you're going to come walking in thinking, what? You're just going to bark orders and do this? Fuck you. Like, I have no hesitation right now of grabbing you by the back of your collar and chucking you through that door. Well, she saw I was serious, like, and even too, I could feel my eyes welling up. I was really trying to hold it all in. And Gunny Carlisle, he saw I was losing it. And sure as shit, what I was going to do to this random chick that walked into our office, he did to me. And for as big a guy as I am, Gunny Carlisle had no problem yoking me right up, grabbed me by the back of the collar and the neck, wrung me outside, threw me up against the wall, and he just reality checked me hard. He's like, I know you're going through it. I know you want to be there. You can't. You can't fucking be there right now. He's like, but what you can do is you can be there for these families. And to that day, like, that's what really stuck with me was, okay, I'm not meant to be there right now. I'm meant to be here. So Matt's funeral was the last one I could do. I couldn't do it anymore. I was beside myself. I was constantly pilled up and boozing. And plus, hearing families grieve, that's just... And as many times as I was hearing it, like, that's, you don't unhear that. Those are just visceral and guttural sounds that just don't go away. Like, you hear it even to this day. I still have the memory of hearing it. After Matt's funeral, I didn't do it anymore. I couldn't handle it. So it was just waiting to go. Finally, we get our orders. Hey, you're taking off. Get the fuck out of here. We finally catch up to them. And on the day that we left was like late January. And I still have trouble trying to keep that timeline in because of how much I was drinking and how much pills I had in my system. But I remember some of the families had shown up to see us off, and some of the families knew who I was, so they came right up, and they were stressed and anxiety ridden, as all families were with anybody attached to that deployment being there. They're like, find Aaron, give him a hug, find Alex, give him a hug for me, find this person, find that. There was like 15 families, at least all at once, that I can recall. And making my way through them, I'm screaming and crying my eyes out. On the outside, it's like the mask is cracking. I need to get on this bus and away, or otherwise I'm going to lose my shit. Catch up with everybody, and luckily, I drop into Kilo Weapons. So catch up with them. They drop us off out at Inkerman, and who was it? Staff Sergeant Ross. I'd known him from Lima Company. Dropped me into the mobile platoon. So we were rolling around, man, almost instantly. I think I had like a day to settle in, and like, here's your truck, here's your weapon system, and we're going. So bouncing around as much as we were, always on the move, always. It's almost like that 06 deployment, just different settings. We were always doing something. And now for me personally, at that time, I felt like I need to be doing more, because where I have been in the States, like, I'm playing catch up. So I couldn't always like not sit still. I couldn't always find, I couldn't sit still. It was my nervous system just running amok and my body not handling it well. So like bouncing around and then seeing everybody that I could, and especially like the ones where the families came. So what was it, John? We roll out and dicking around in the trucks. I hop out real fast, find him. He's in the prone. He's looking off across the river, kind of just like belly flop next to him. And like, as soon as I landed, I was getting back up. I plopped down and I'm like, hey buddy, your mom says hi. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And I'm like, came to give you a kiss and a hug from your mom, because you're a little bitch. Like, popped him a quick kiss, took up, sprinted back to the truck, and then we were tearing off. But things during that deployment, I was so hell-bent on making up for lost time that I didn't realize that everything that I had been doing was what I was meant to do. And that took a lot of years to get over that. But like, man, like the only real close calls I had in Sangin, and that's saying a lot because it was Sangin. Shot at a handful of times, pings. I maybe fired like a handful of rounds from like 2 weapon systems. I mean, that was my combat. I think the only time I almost died was twice, which that's a ironic statement to say, but there was one day, I think it was 3rd Platoon. They were known for going Winchester. They would get into these fights and then they would just run dry of ammo. So we get a call, load up, take ammo out to them, resupply, and let's get going. So we load up, we're tearing ass out, and by this time, the snows had melted. It was warming up, so the water level had risen, and where we're going to cross, there was like this footpath, except you couldn't see it now. The water had taken over it, but all you could see was this rock, this slab of rock sticking up out of the river. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, how are we going to get through this one? So if we had gone down and left, we would have been totally fine, just right across the river, because another truck had just crossed in front of us. No, we don't do that. We go down and right. So as soon as we're going in, we're coming right back off. And I thought we were good because that triangle piece of armor on the bottom had collided with that rock. So I thought we were just hung up. Yeah, no. Like the initial shock of hitting that set in, and then you hear the whole vehicle. And I go, holy shit. And I'm looking down, the fucking river's right there. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. We roll into the river. I'm half underwater and half in the truck. So luckily, the helo dunker saved my life. Just training that I thought was kind of just a check in the box. No, because when we had hit, the Mark 19 had popped loose from its pintle, smacked me in the face. The grenade cage had crunched in and was pinning me down. So I have grenade cage, Mark 19, all up in my shit. Inside where my legs are, my lower half, all of the Mark 19 ammo had popped loose from its securings. So there's got to be like 20, 30 cans that have popped loose and are crushing my legs on the inside. So I get the Mark 19 off my face. I'm able to kind of like push the grenade cage back up, and I can get like my nose and my mouth out of the river. And I mean, the Helmand River, I think I swallowed a floater that day. Like I'm trying not to panic, but like I can feel the pain setting in. I can't move my legs. I finally take a few deep breaths, and again, the helo dunker started taking over. So I'm like feeling the lips of the turret trying to finagle my body back in. Finally do, and I get out of the gunner's harness. Anybody who was in a turret, like gunner's harness was meant to keep you in the truck in case it was blown up. So it was just a secured line in case if you did hit something and you didn't get tossed, and even worse. Get out of my gunner's rig, and like my legs are all bashed as shit. My body is fucking crunched and torn. I'm just floating in the back of this truck, and we're still settling into the river. And it might have been the pills that I was still taking. It might have been all the pain of being crushed the way that I was. I'm floating in the back, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to drown in this fucking truck. Maybe about 30 seconds, and then I can hear Nick and Denny up in the front. They're trying to push this like 700 plus pound door open. It's not going anywhere. All of a sudden I hear them screaming a name. I think it was Jeff, and They had gotten to us. They're on top of the truck. They're trying to get the door open. And boom, the door gets open. And I'm like, fuck, can't I just die? Now I got to crawl through all this shit and I got to get out of the fucking truck. Like, it would have been just easier to just stay back there and drown. And as I'm crawling through, and I mean, I'm crawling through water and ammo cans and all of our stuff. It was kind of like that scene in Star Wars where they fall into the garbage chute and then that fucking monster's in there, just crap and water everywhere. And I finally get to the door and Jeff is there. And it was kind of one of those like melodramatic things. And he's like, brother, give me your hand. And I look up and I go, shut up, dude. I'm all right. Fuck. So I come crawling out and like Nick and Denny are sitting there. I come like flopping out and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And we all kind of settle in, we catch our breath, and then we look at Denny and we're like, hey man, I don't mean to add to your massive amount of stress right now, but do you think you might be perpetuating a stereotype? Denny's Korean. So we're like, oh man, you're just a bad driver. Ugh. Like you had North Korean defect. You tried to come over here and kill us. And he's like, I didn't fucking mean to. I couldn't see the fucking road. And we're like, dude, we're just busting your chops. Like if we had died, then we could be pretty pissed. But like, dude, I couldn't even fucking see through the river. It's like, dude, it's an accident. Everybody's fine. We're good. Then we had to collect up everything out of the river, wait for the wrecker to come flip the damn thing back over. And by this time, the adrenaline had worn off and I was in a shit ton of pain. I have to go like limping back into Increment to go get checked out. And I'm like, if anybody with half a damn brain sees somebody walking like that, they're gonna be, he might be a little fucked up. Go get checked out. The medical officer, like, I wanted to knock him one because he's like, well, I hope this is an important lesson on how you should secure your things inside the vehicle. And I go, okay, I'm going to punch you in the face if you don't leave me the fuck alone. He's like, okay, you're fine. The next time it was just, we were basically running QRF towards the end of that deployment, always out and about. Like I remember one time Lima company went dry on 60 mortars and they're like, load up as much as you can, get it over to them. Like that we had one good show at night. I think it was Indic company. It was southeast of us. Anyways, they take contact, and I mean, I think it was like 30 dudes that came at them. So we're like the next camp over, and all of a sudden, we hear gun runs going just at night, just tracers, all the bing bong, all the fucking day. And I'm like, are we sitting QRF for this? And they're like, no, we haven't gotten word. So like we all pop our lawn chairs and we're just sitting outside, like drinking near beers and watching gun runs go for like 20, 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh, damn, dude, every fifth round's a tracer. So yeah, they're dumping a lot of rounds. And I think the last thing to happen to me that I narrowly missed was, I think they were burning like some HME up by the river. So we take a convoy out there just to provide security, and coming back, we're making our way through like just wadis and ditches and all that agricultural irrigation systems that they have. in Afghanistan, well, we roll through this creek, a little bit bigger, and we get called to halt. And we're like, what the fuck is going on now? So I turn around. EOD had been attached to whoever was out of Transformers. Fob Transformers is just a small little encampment north of Anchorman. They had EOD attached to them, and they're like, holy fucking shit. And this guy picks up, and I mean this fucking 2 2x4s with some rubber tire in between. It was the fucking initiator to an IED, except this fucking thing was attached to like this giant Italian anti-tank mine. And like we had just rolled over it and it didn't go off. So that one was kind of like, I just plopped down in like the turret seat and I'm like, can we just go the fuck home now? Cause I'm fucking over it. Sure enough, I don't think anybody else was, I think that was like the last incident or close call I had, as a part of Sangin. And yeah, getting back home and just seeing everybody, I think that was on everyone's mind because that was a lot for the guys that were hurt. And I mean, hurt, like multiple amputees, a lot of limbs lost. I mean, the families that lost someone, guys that were there and got hurt and came back. That deployment was a lot. And for me, especially seeing both sides, I can take getting shot at and blown up all the live long day. Being back away from everybody, that to this day, I mean, that's the worst experience I had in the military was being away from everybody, not getting shot at or blown up and fighting. Like, no, that's what we signed up for. Like, we'll do that all the live long day. Pick a fight. Okay, I'm with you. Let's go. Yeah. Seeing that, what goes on behind the scenes, that was jarring, just a jarring dose of reality. And to see it on that scale, that was a lot. And I mean, I think at that time I was 24, 25. So that young, of course, this is all retrospect. That young, maneuvering through that, like that'd be daunting for anybody, not just me. So like after getting back from Sangin, I was still in such a bad way that being stateside and sitting still wasn't working because I was still drinking around the clock. I was still taking pills. My only outlet was to cross deck and go right back to Afghanistan. The original orders I had were to go back to Sangin with 1-5. Those fell through, and I crossed deck to 2-4 and dropped to Echo Company. And I caught up with them like December, like right around Christmas time. I remember Christmas time, and hit the ground running with them. It was like comparatively, I won't, and I don't like making these comparisons because it always feels like I'm dumbing down someone else's accomplishments. Like it wasn't Sangin, but it wasn't a joke either. Like those guys being in the triangle of guilt, they were getting some. They fully accepted me in coming in out of nowhere, unknown, and just able to integrate myself to them, not them to me. So rolling with them was a lot of fun. And it was ironic too, after the 3-5-2-4 brawl, they're like, "Where are you from?" I was like, 3-5. "Oh, were you in that brawl?" And I go, "I saw it and wasn't a part of it." So yeah. Man, rolling with those guys was a lot of fun too, because not a lot of them didn't know that that was my 5th deployment, so they were thinking I had 2, 3 max, but I was coming with a lot of experience. I'm not trying to make that sound arrogant, but when I got there, there was a lot of things going on that I would never stand next to. I'm like, who the fuck told you that's how you do it? No, fuck that. That's stupid. That's going to get someone hurt or fucking killed because some dick smoke wants to get a medal or stroke his own ego. Like, fuck that. So at that time, I was really lost in my own head. The pills had definitely taken over. The drinking was completely out of control. And the only real outlet I had, especially in Afghanistan at that time, was to keep eyes on me and keep the bullshit away from everybody else. Like openly insubordinate to staff NCOs and officers. And I mean, there wasn't a fuck given on my end. I was like, that's just fucking stupid. So by the time my deployment ended with 2-4, the fighting, the drinking, the pills had all taken its toll to where I was completely disconnected with reality. And I was causing my own chaos to keep away from things that I wasn't dealing with. And when we came back, it was that was an extremely dark time for me, to the point where I get in trouble. I get a DUI. I get busted down. Like, I had picked up sergeant for a day. I get a DUI. They bust me down to Lance because I had just transferred from 2-4 back to 3-5 up to regiment so I can start my transition out of the military. They bust me down to Lance Corporal. So like they made an example of me, but I was so hell bent on keeping my destructive patterns, I didn't give a shit. Like, I just went back to my room and started drinking again. Like, turned on the TV, popped a couple more pills. So I do my 45 days restriction and my punishments after the DUI, and then I complete everything, check out, and the first thing I do, I go have dinner with family who lived close by, have like 8 beers there, and then I head out with my buddy Zach after dinner. We go bum it around from bar to bar and just party and drink all night. And I mean, all night, I get back to my room by like 2:30. The next day they have a surprise health and comfort. So I'm passed out in my bed, naked, ass up. This captain and Gunny walk in. They find my room in disarray because I had just moved into that room. So it was like organized chaos everywhere. And they find me ass up naked with a shit ton of booze in my room, because that previous Thursday, before I got off restriction, we had everybody in town for Matt Abate's Navy Cross ceremony. So Barracks party, I'm fucked up on restriction. I'm already in enough trouble and I'm just causing my own chaos. So they take off because I can't leave. They stash all this booze in my room, and then out of sheer boredom, I finagle like 90 to 100 beers inside this mini fridge to keep them cold. They never came back from the beers. No, I started drinking those. But that health and comfort was the start to a big transition for me from just full-blown drunk, hooked on painkillers and anything I could get my hands on to just keep my keep my adrenaline up. I don't know what you'd call it, but I was fixated on staying away from like the mental aspects, just everything that I was going through internally to stay high or drunk. So they bust me in my room. They tell me to come up to the office. I don't actually go up to the office. I roll back over and go to sleep. So I'm like 4 hours late to this meeting, and I walk up there and he sits me down, starts reading me my rights again. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to NJP you again. And I'm like, for what? He's like, you missed formation. And I go, I was 10 minutes late. And out of your mouth, you verbatimly said, you said verbatim, you have to be gone more than 24 hours. 10 minutes ain't 24 hours. You keep reading me these rights, I'm going to take my blouse off and I'm going to fuck you up. And I'm a Lance Corporal, like a 45-day newly demoted Lance Corporal. He's a gunny. He's like, what did you just say? And I go, if you keep reading that, I'm going to take off my blouse and I'm going to fuck you up. So he gets heated, goes against this captain. He comes back in. I kind of settle down. This captain starts fucking grilling me. And then it's on. We are just scrumming in this office. And by the end of it, this Gunny realized I was having a serious problem. He's like, okay, you're going to do two things right now. One, you're going to turn over all your fucking alcohol. And two, you're going to rehab. So still hell-bent on my own bullshit. I don't have a problem. I don't have this. You guys are just busting my shit. They send me to rehab. And 2 weeks in, my counselor says something and it clicked. And like I sit there and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm the fucking asshole. He's like, why'd you say that? And I'm like, I just had a breakthrough. And he's like, I just realized that I'm the only one causing my own problems. It's nothing external. It's me. I'm the problem. So all of that bullshit I was going through was the catalyst to A, stop what you're doing and turn it all around. So luckily, I was able to build sobriety while still active duty, which was difficult at first because all my buddies are like, hey, we got a DD. Fuck you. No. There's more than 4 guys in my car is $100. Less than 4 guys is $50. And then I got, you're paying me for my time. So I started, not Uber, but like I was making money hand over fist, and then I would drive over to SOI and pick up those dipshits and then charge them money to drive them to the gate. And I'm like, figure out your own life, man. So finding my way through sobriety, especially after everything I've been through, was daunting to say the least because A, it was unknown. Everybody around me is still drinking. Luckily, my buddy Brian, he was the saving grace that I had at the time. Like, he kept me sober my first year. I was really in a bad way with it. But he didn't let up on me either. He would hold me accountable. He would call me out on something I was doing wrong. He's like, if you need something, you need to tell me beforehand, and I'll make sure you're able to do it. If you're able to do it. Like, if something takes priority, you can't. And I go, not a problem. So the last year and a half, about a year and a half, I spent in a 30-day inpatient, around 6-7 months of intensive outpatient. And then I went back down to where the treatment facility was, and I did this 10-week program for combat PTSD. And the blessing was, I needed help, and I wasn't asking for it. I didn't think I had a problem until nothing but reality hit like a ton of bricks that, this type of behavior, this type of shit will fucking kill you. And that was the best thing that could happen for me, because at that time they also medically retired me. So I was put out to pasture, and transitioning from all of that, 9 years of just craziness to 0 miles an hour with not a real fucking clue in my head to do anything. Getting out of the military, did the whole, I went to school, I went, got jobs. I was a bouncer. So, that was kind of helpful too, because being in those environments, I knew them. I just wasn't drinking. And then once I got a job being a bouncer, it was easier for me to move around, work, make money, still interact, and be in that environment, which, yeah, kind of needed to learn my lesson with that one. Was I don't need to be in a bar to socialize or do anything. And then nothing was really clicking those first couple of years after the military. I enjoyed school. I enjoyed learning the things that I was. Big fan of philosophy class, but being 28, 29 with like 18 and 19-year-olds on the different ends of the spectrum. Like when I was 18 and 19, I was in Fallujah. These 18 and 19-year-olds I'm around, get pissy when they can't get an extra shot of espresso in their mocha choca bullshit from Starbucks. And I mean, it felt like Billy Madison with a tactical background. Like, who is this fucking idiot? And like the teacher's like, dude, you can't talk to them that way. And I'm like, he's a fucking tool. Did you hear that shit? Moron. Idiot. What the fuck is the matter with you? Hey, I tell you what, why don't you go stick a fork in that electrical socket? And that's what you sound like. And I mean, today I was like, a little rough on these kids who had no idea what they were doing. But getting through all of that, the best avenue I've taken since getting out of the military was jumping back onto contract. So I went back in like mid 2017, 2018. I'd have to look at that paperwork because I don't know if it starts when you start doing the process or when you get boots on ground. So 2017 to 2018, I started heading back overseas, landed in Baghdad with triple canopy. Had a blast. It was high-paid infantry stuff without all the extra chaos. Now, I mean, it's not to say that wasn't a joke either. Like, we were assigned, or I dropped to the ambassador's detail, rolled with those teams, and a whole mix of everybody. A couple of Army SF guys, Marines, SWIC guys, all a little bit on the older side, but that environment, it was so fun to be in and around that community again. And I didn't have to drink. Like, I got to experience what I should have been experiencing when I was younger. But yeah. So like most guys I run into, I always try and grab a contract. Just get out of here for a bit. Go make some quick, easy money. It's a lot of fun. I had very few problems with anybody that I worked with. The only real world scenarios to happen were we took a trip back out to Fallujah and we had to go to this refugee camp. We were almost overrun by just everybody crowding our protectee. And it ended as quickly as it started. Put them in the truck. We're done. Good. Let's go have lunch. Ironically, though, that trip, we took the DCM, the Deputy Chief of Mission of the embassy. We took him out to Fallujah. We were in the AO I was at in 2006. So 15 years later, I'm circling around the same areas that I was when I was 19, 20. And it really stood out because we were having lunch in this compound and I couldn't place it, but it was the house we were living in. And the only indicator that I figured it out that it was back in 06, the city was going off its fucking rocker one day. We're staged for QRF. All of a sudden, a bunch of stray rounds just come dropping in. And I mean, simultaneously, Staff Sergeant Distelhorse, he was just walking out to see what we were doing. He's got his hands in his pockets, and he always had this this strut. Like, you knew it was Distelhorse even from a mile away just by how he was walking. Gets to the door frame, stray rounds right in the wall. I mean, right next to him. So not even an inch away. Looks at it, 180s, walks back inside. Well, we all scattered to shit, but we're laughing our asses off. We're like, fucking Staff Sergeant almost got taken out. Oh. So we finished that day. It was a wild trip down memory lane. I wish I could still be out there long enough because the only other thing that happened other than IDF, which that was always a constant, they just love lobbing them at us. When the embassy came under attack in 2019, 2020, that was butthole puckering, but Trump ordered in like a MAGTF, 150 plus Marines. We had Apaches on station. I believe there were drones, and I want to say like a gunship was up there too. I don't know. But that was about as close as you could get to a full-on fight without crossing that line. Like, nobody fired a shot, a couple of bumps and bruises, a bunch of damage from Molotov cocktails were done to the embassy, but other than that, no. And they even breached twice, so they got inside, but like everybody, especially with experiences that they have, I mean, flawless fucking effort. So I really enjoyed being back amongst just guys like me. Like, oh, I'm gonna be like that guy. Like, we got a good team here. Like, let's keep it going. But due to an unfortunate event, I injured my spine in July of 21, and I have been here ever since dealing with that. So yeah, as bad as that was, as bad as the VA is, it's just do whatever you can do with what you got and let the rest go. And like, you know, having been raised the way that I was, it has been extremely helpful, especially since I renewed my faith with God. I mean, I've really gone back into that foundation and setting and everything, but growing up, especially with Lizzie, who was born into a challenge that, I mean, there was no choice in the matter. It was do this or you don't do it, and you basically, you die. You know, being told also that she wouldn't live to be past 10 or 11. Now, she has passed, and it'll be 3 years now on January 28th. Like, being told that she wouldn't live to be past 10 or 11, and she passed away at 31. You know, for me, that's triple stacking your life. That's not a short life. That was a triple over. Like, you went above and beyond. You didn't have to do 31 years because doctors told us you would probably not be here past 10 or 11. So that mentality has always stuck with me because of my youngest sister. And even like the guys that I served with, they all loved Lizzie. And well, I mean, Lizzie had the hots for some of them, but I was like, yeah, you guys, good luck with that one. Like, I'm not telling you no, but she ain't going to tell you yes. There was actually one night, I think it was when we came back from Sangin, and she was there with us. A bunch of us are there. We're all at this bar, Goodies in San Clemente. And I mean, Lizzie's drinking us under the table. And I mean, smoking cigarettes. And I'm like, fuck, I don't care. Do what you want. And that was always kind of our mentality with Lizzie was we don't know when she's going to leave. So let's just let her kind of do whatever she wants and learn and experience everything for herself. And if we need to yank her back, we'll yank her back. But we're getting fucked up. We go outside. My buddies are around. We're smoking cigarettes. And this chunk of a beast woman just comes walking past her, says something mouthy. And I look and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. And Lizzie looks at her and goes, what the fuck did you say? And she's like, what, bitch? So these two were fucking going at it. And I'm standing there off to the side like, okay, it's just girls fighting. And well, it starts escalating. So this fucking butterball's got this dude with her. He's a schlumpy fuck. I'm standing there with my buddies like, what the fuck? Like, this is, like, it's funny, but like, I don't need to get involved in all this stuff. They're chirping at each other. This girl comes up and pushes Lizzie. And I mean, Lizzie kind of takes a step back and, with cystic fibrosis, Lizzie was very lanky and bony. So when she made a fist, it was just female Wolverine. It's all bone. Pushes Lizzie. Lizzie balls up and just drops her. And I mean, even I'm like, what the fuck? And all my buddies are like, dude, why aren't you helping your sister? And I don't know, man. I think she's got it. Like, what the fuck do you need me here for? And she's walking back over to us, and I look at her and I go, you're good? And she's like, yeah, let's go get more beers. I was like, what the fuck? So all my buddies knew who Lizzie was. We always had that running joke where like, man, your sister should be out here with us. And I go, no, you give her a gun, you're going to have an international incident written all over, Newsweek, Time Magazine, you're fucked. So, yeah, Lizzie was the real war dog in my perspective because, but I mean, anybody born into a challenge like that, you don't have a choice in the matter. You either roll with the punches and you win, or you roll with the punches and you're defeated by it. But yeah. Yeah. And she passed at 31. I'm a 31. So her and I were very simpatico with the gruffness. And I mean, Lizzie could get me to shut the fuck up, and I don't like shutting the fuck up. So having that good family dynamic, especially with a challenge like that made the Marine Corps very, very interesting, and in ways a lot easier. I'll end it on this one. So I know a lot of us have struggled with, especially losing guys that we served with, either with, killed in action or afterwards, suicide, anything like that. It was the day Lizzie died. So I'm at my parents' place. I'm kind of cleaning up, doing laundry, just little stuff, just trying to kill the time. Get a call. It's my mom. She's like, get to the hospital. Everybody needs to be here. So we get there. They tell us that, we can keep her alive, Lizzie. Like, we can keep you alive, but it will be in this room. You're never going to leave this room again. So she got to make that decision. Well, for any one of us, like if someone asked me, how would you want to go out? Okay, let's get all the homies together, zombie apocalypse in Fallujah, just balls out. There's my ending. Man, that guy went out in a fucking blaze of glory. So having Lizzie make her own decision about whether she wanted to continue or not, that's probably the thing I'm most grateful for. I was like, it's your call. You do what you want. So we're all in there. They take all the machines off. She's having her last conversations. But as soon as the machines came off, like, she was back to her old self. I mean, laughing, giggling, carrying on, like having a Coke. She was a big fan of Coke. Coca-Cola, not cocaine. Laughing, carrying on, listening to music. And then she kind of waves me over, like, we're going to have, like, okay, this is going to suck. This is probably going to be our last conversation ever. So I'm sitting there with her. I'm all verklempt. I'm teary-eyed. And then she gets to the question that she wants to ask me. And it's, is this okay? And I go, is what okay? She's like, me leaving. Is this okay? And I go, who the fuck told you it's not okay? Like, who told you it's not okay? I'll deal with that person. You just do whatever you want. So once I told her it was okay, because she didn't ask anybody else, she was saving that question for me. And I'm like, you got me fucking kidding me. Oh boy, this is going to hurt like a motherfucker. I'm like, yeah, you're done. You can go. So she pulls me in close and she whispers, they're here. Looked around the room and I'm like, who's here? Mom and Dad, Susan. Our cousin Alex had made it from Australia. She's like, no, the boys are here. Oh, boys? Wow. Like, which ones? And she said, all of them. So I go, all of them are here. Really? And this is the part that it still just gives me the chills. She points over my left shoulder and she goes, yeah, Rex is right there. And for the life of me to this day, I don't ever remember a time that I had mentioned him, and she never would have met him because Rex Page was killed in 2006 on my first deployment. And I mean, she said Rex, I fucking just wide-eyed. And I mean, I start crying. I mean, I lose it. I'm bawling. And about 45 seconds into this just losing my shit, I snap the fuck out of it. And I sit up and I go, hey, you stay out of the fucking barracks, Lizzie. You stay out of the fucking barracks. I've partied with these assholes. I know how they fucking do it. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I was like, I'm good with that. I know where you're going. I know who you're with. I'm okay with that. And to this day, even after my dad passing, just this last Halloween, so it'll be about 3 months without him, and we're coming up on 3 years without Lizzie. Having that peace of mind, like, I'm good with that. I know one day we're all not going to be here, so those are the things that I look forward to. Yeah. I mean, today's not a bad day. It's everything that I've been gifted from God. It is how I apply all of my past experiences into today because that's all I have. So, hopefully anybody going through their own things is yesterday's done. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Today is all you have. So it's nice having all of my experiences, family, to the Marine Corps, school, work, good and bad relationships. Everything is set in front of you for one purpose, and that's to leave this world one day. And if you're a believer, I hope that you are. I hope that one day the Lord finds you, gives you a hug, and says, have you figured it out yet? And I mean, still to this day, I don't even know where the fuck I am half the time, but everything has its time and place and purpose. So yeah, that was nice to hear. My sister's parting message was, yeah, I'm good.
That's incredible, man.
It was spine tingling. And the way she pointed, it was lucid. Yeah, no, he's right there.
Wow.
Fuck. It was a good silver lining to, it wasn't a bad day because I really wasn't upset that she was leaving. I was like, you're not sick anymore. Okay. Well, I'll see you when I see you. But yeah, hearing a good crowd showed up to come get her. I was very, very happy about that.
It's been a pleasure to sit with you, man.
No, thank you for having me. I'm glad you guys have this. This is awesome.
Man, that was an amazing story, man.
I could go on all day and night, but sometimes I don't even like hearing myself talk.
Thank you for sitting with me, man.
No, thank you, Josh. Thank you for having me.
Number 5, brother.
Always.